Now, just using the number 5 brush again, synthetic brush, kind of brush really made for acrylic, oil, and some people use them for watercolor as well. I'm just going to block in fairly quickly the area on the right hand side, which I don't want to be too noticeable. I certainly don't want it to be a focal point of any kind. For that reason, I'm going to do it relatively quickly and just block in certain areas, the broadest areas anyway. I'm using wet on to dry paper. However, there'll be a little bit of wet into wet involved here as well as I proceed. Looking in full sunlight. I mean, I'm sitting in the shade, but of course the sketchbook is in full sun, which is handy because if I'm using wet into wet or working with broad washes, it's sometimes quite handy to have the sun drying these washes fairly quickly. Because I'm treating these as preliminary, more or less preliminary washes, and I may want to come back and strengthen some of the shadowed areas. For example, right under the bay window, it's quite dark here in the shade, and I'm working wet into wet there, or wet into damp in a way, because it's parts of it are not really dry or not really wet. So working with a full brush, I can. Now you notice that I'm leaving some areas kind of untouched. For example, small areas like that are actually good to leave. It adds a little more visual interest to an area of broad color. There's a area of darkness here, and also there's the stone. The stone patio. Which I'll just really just block in, painting around the flower pot there. And you'll notice that I'm not painting it, all of it. I'm leaving some broken areas of white paper where the where the stones are. That'll be useful later when I describe a little bit of the texture of the stone in the patio. Now, when some of these washes are dry, I generally go back in and strengthen the shadowed, deepen the shadowed areas, strengthen some of the colors in there with another application of the paint or the color that I want that to finally be. And since it's dry, I can indicate the bottom of the wall where it meets the stone, like so. We'll continue this just a little bit later.